back to the podcast. I'm your host, Michael Beer, and alongside of me is my co-host, Ed Fletcher, and we're next up. Ed, how you doing today?
Doing fantastic, Michael. Thank you for asking. Our guest today, her name is Karli Williams. Karli, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely.
Karli, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Karli Williams. I'm a junior here at Fairfield University. I'm a marketing major and aspiring creative director and fashion photographer.
Awesome. Karli, so we like to start our guests off with a question that kind of pertains to our brand and kind of what Next Up means. So what inspires you to be Next Up?
Really just following what makes me happy and realizing what my strengths are. And I was lucky enough to do this kind of at a young age. Always being genuine to myself and not caring what others think, and having the willpower to continue and start my career and always manifesting success.
That's awesome. Karli, what got you into photography?
So like I said, I was lucky enough to kind of get the ball rolling when I was quite young. I was a sophomore in high school when I started working with local brands and fashion boutiques, doing video campaigns, photography campaigns. I would work with some models and we would just have fun and shoot the clothes that these fashion boutiques sold to then get posted on social media. And one thing led to another. I started booking some other jobs. I started to realize the power that a brand and branding holds within the realm of marketing. And then I realized that I was interested in marketing, and hence my major. And then, yeah, here we are right now.
That's awesome.
Okay, so now for those of us on YouTube, for those of you listening or watching on YouTube, we are going to look at Karli's website once I bring that up. Here we go. So here's Karli's website, karliwilliams.com.
The link will be in the description of the podcast, description of the YouTube. Make sure you guys check it out.
Okay, so here are some of Karli's pictures.
Karli, you want to walk us through some of these?
Sure. So this model her name is Lila Child at Makeup by Lila on Instagram. She is a fellow Next Up. She should be on the podcast, but she's in California. She is a makeup artist, and at age 16, she was sponsored by Glossier. And for these photos, there was kind of usually I make a Pinterest board prior to a shoot, but for this, we kind of didn't have any strict guidelines going in, and I specifically more or less styled these looks. Obviously, I'm a huge believer in creative collaboration, so there was collaboration in this. But specifically, I really liked the Converse look, and I really like this, tiny details. I really like how the shoelaces are untied. I just think it adds character to the photo. And then if you scroll, this is my roommate, Sophie. Shout out to Sophie. And also Paloma, one of my good friends. These are shot here in Fairfield in the field next to the marina. I'm giving away my secret shooting locations. But Paloma actually showed it to me. And these were taken in the summertime, so that's why everything looks bright and pretty.
It's awesome.
And for these, specifically for the shoot with Sophie, there was no Pinterest board, just literally let's go take some photos and have fun.
That's awesome. Yeah. So Ed, do you want to check out the video?
Sure. So in addition to photography, Karli also does some videography. So we would go and watch one of her videos. Okay.
So this is again my friend Paloma, and for this we had no plan. It was move in this field and see what happens. And she's a natural. She's amazing. She's another Next Up.
How'd you meet her?
At Paloma Mian on Instagram. So on Instagram actually. I've always kind of known of her because she does have a social media presence. And I sent her a DM and was like, hey, want to shoot? And then actually now, because of that shoot, her mom is now my mentor. She is an interior designer in Lower Fairfield County and beyond. And Raquel, if you're listening, she's my mentor and I love her and she's amazing and a huge influence on my life. And that just shows the power of networking and how everything snowballs into another thing.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
I just want to preface this for everybody listening on Spotify and Apple Music. If you guys want to check out Karli's website, it will also be in the description of the podcast, and the link to our YouTube will also be in the description of this podcast as well. So please check it out.
Yes. So Karli, you mentioned to us that you want to be a creative director out of college. Can you touch on a little bit about what that is?
So the path to being a creative director is kind of unclear. So out of college, 100%, unless I start my own brand or whatever, I will not be a creative director.
Right.
Maybe for a long time, hopefully not. But yes, so out of college, the path to that will begin. Creative direction is essentially starting with an idea and being the facilitator of that idea and using every aspect of creativity and business to get to the end product. So in other words, that means shooting, directing the photo shoots in particular, communicating with the marketing team, branding team, just again, like all encompassing from the beginning of a campaign notion to the end. And I think that is just such a cool thing. It's kind of like being a film director in a sense, just
not a film.
Not a film.
That's awesome. It's almost like so on your website, like it feels like those pictures are kind of just like free flowing, right? Once you kind of just get into a creative groove, I guess you would call it, everything just kind of flows, right?
Right. Yeah. So I kind of like to say that seeing the model through the camera, or even if it's not a model, usually in my case, someone in front of the camera, I know exactly when I get the first good shot, and from then it's just, again, snowball effect of just a creative high and like getting into it and just being in that realm and creative bliss of capturing amazing images that will hopefully help the brand and or company sell their products.
That's awesome. So Karli, you're a marketing major at Fairfield University. Why the background in business?
So I feel like my brain is programmed in two ways. One of them being creatively and another being business-like. And I feel like creativity is not something that can be taught. And everyone honestly assumes that I'm a photography major. And I kind of like, not scoff at them, but I'm like, oh, that's kind of funny because I don't think someone can teach you how to take a good photo. Like that's just something, it's a skill that can be developed, but I feel like it was honestly something that, a gift that I was given of just visualizing something and capturing it. And I honestly give that credit to my dad, who is a builder. And yeah, so I definitely just wanted to enter into the business world, specifically because of branding. I wanted to just have a strong foundation in business. I think it overall would is making me a better person and the best version of myself with the blend of creativity and business. There was a major at Emerson College. I was looking at that college as a prospective student. They had a major called Creative Enterprise, and that's when the switch flipped for me, because I was like, that is literally what I want to do.
It's awesome.
Because it's a blend of creativity and business, but obviously I'm at Fairfield University, and so the closest thing we have to that is marketing, which is still amazing.
No, it is. Marketing's definitely helpful, especially all your photo shoots, especially with clothing brands. That's literally what you're doing, is marketing for those companies, and having a background in marketing and being amazing at photography is just a great combination.
Thank you.
Right. I think so. I'm sure everybody listening out there knows who David Dobrik is, and I'm sure if you've watched his videos, SeatGeek helps him give away a lot of cars. And I read a newsletter from a buddy of mine who said in his newsletter that he actually interviewed the CMO of SeatGeek, Chief Marketing Officer, and the CMO kind of said, it's not really about asking people to use your product or buy your product. It's more about telling a story and putting your name in somebody's head that kind of gets it going, right? So, in David Dobrik's vlogs, you never hear, "Oh, use SeatGeek, use SeatGeek." It's always SeatGeek's always like implemented into the videos, and always it's creatively
natural.
It's just natural.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome, and I think that's kind of where you're heading, and that's awesome.
That's kind of what I'm all about, is helping companies and or brands sell their products, like I said, in a natural way. So when a viewer or a customer sees a product on Instagram, Facebook, whatever social platform, they want to buy into something that's more than just a product. They want to feel like they're a part of something, and that something is a brand. And that's why brands are so successful, and good brands are so unique, because they're more than just a product.
Exactly.
And I actually wrote my college essay on how each person, like all three of us, we inherently all have our own brands, aka we all have our own different personalities. And the more unique you are, the more successful your brand will be. So the more unique that we all are, probably the more successful we will all be.
There's not a direct correlation, but I understand what you're saying.
Kind of like a figurative,
right.
kind of a thing. But
I
just the notion that the more unique you are, the more people, unique and relatable, and the more people will be attracted to you, and hence be attracted to a company or a brand.
Exactly. And like you were talking about before, that it's just more than just a product. I like to bring up the example of the Instagram ads for like bracelets or necklaces that give a portion of their profits to cleaning up the oceans. That's something that a lot of people will go for, and it's creating a movement along with the product itself.
Right.
It's awesome. So Karli, we have a listener question of the week. This question comes from Will McMahon, who's also a marketing major at Fairfield University. He wants to know, what's the biggest job that you've done so far?
So when I was 17, I was a senior in high school, and I was flown to Charleston, South Carolina, an amazing city, to photograph the brand launch of a clothing brand called Caftan Life. Basically, what they sell is cover-up like dresses that have multiple functions, kind of like brunch with the moms, with the ladies, or just wearing it to the beach, on the boat. And Charleston was a perfect location for that because of the proximity to the beach, having the city there.
Fits the vibe.
Fits the vibe. Vibe is my favorite word. And so, yeah, I was flown to Charleston, and I was the director of photography for this brand launch. And just the experience in like as a whole was one of the most amazing experiences of my life, and it's had lasting impacts. One of my best friends, Madison, was one of the models for the shoot, and it really almost felt like it was a legitimizing experience, or gave me the confidence and wherewithal to believe in myself and say, wow, I'm 17 and I'm directing a legitimate photo shoot right now.
Yeah.
And the feedback after the shoot and the places that it got me, and just, the overall experience was amazing. It left me speechless.
It's awesome.
So how nervous were you to do that?
I'm honestly not that nervous, because more excited because I had been to Charleston a few times prior to that, and I love it there. I went to college there for a year, but here I am back in Fairfield. but yeah, I was excited. If anything, was just nervous that people would be like, oh, she's 17, she doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah.
But obviously the CEO and the president of the company had faith in me, so I had faith in myself. But everyone was amazing. On the shoot, there wasn't any nervousness or anything. So
good, showing up all those old photographers, you know.
It's awesome.
So Karli, what are you doing right now in your career, and where do you see yourself going in the future?
So right now, I'm interning with the jewelry brand Lagos. You can find their jewelry in Bloomingdale's, Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus, and for those on YouTube, I'm wearing the necklace and the rings.
Nice stores, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's a luxury jewelry brand. It's really nice. And I am social media and PR coordinator, which is a fancy word for intern, but I say it anyway. And so yeah, I pull together monthly reports from their social media channels, come up with some swipes, aka inspiration for future social campaigns. And for PR, I do clippings and media updates with the PR director. And outside of that, I always am freelancing with photography. Currently, like I mentioned, my mentor Raquel prior to this, I've been doing some interior shoots, which has been really fun. It's gotten me to some cool places and seen some cool things, met some cool people. COVID has definitely impacted it a little bit, because it's very hard to do anything, specifically have photo shoots with a bunch of models.
Right.
Yeah, so in the next year, I'm on track to graduate, actually a year early. And perhaps if I feel like I'm not ready to start working, I might get my master's here at Fairfield, or I might just hit the ground running and start working and hopefully secure a nice job that makes me happy and feels like a hobby. And yeah, I actually did a photo shoot with Reed Doble, who was on the podcast.
First episode.
Our first
Shout out Reed.
Podcast guest is Reed Doble. He is the founder of Pele Masks, in case any of you all are wondering.
You should go listen to the episode. It's a great episode.
But yeah,
So you had a viral kind of commercial for Pele Masks. You want to touch on that a little bit?
So it was really honestly a last minute thing. Reed had given me some of his masks to do some product shots with, and he was like, hey, in the next 4 hours, I need a female to record themselves saying, hey, buy Pele masks. So I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I guess I can do it. Like, I was the host of my high school news show. I have some on-camera experience. And I put my makeup on, did my hair, and apparently 1 million people saw it. And I just found this out a couple days ago. So thank you, Reed, for giving me that heads up.
That's awesome. So I feel like they'll probably be like the first few viral posts or videos you have will go viral. You'll be like, holy crap, right? And then once you have the maybe 4th or 5th viral post, it'll be like, yeah, who cares? It's happened before.
Yeah. I feel like every time I've had one photo go viral, sort of viral. The app Visco, they actually reposted one of my photos, which was pretty cool.
That is cool. That's really cool.
It's kind of hard to grasp, especially when something's online, because it can say like, oh, 20,000 people liked your photo or whatever, and it's hard to grasp because
it's a lot of people.
It's just a number,
it really is.
And it's weird because even though it is something that is a big milestone, honestly, I don't know if I will ever get used to it, because it's something that keeps pushing you to be better and striving to be better, and it's like a milestone of success, I guess.
Right.
So
that's cool.
I hope I never get used to it, honestly, because it'll just keep me wanting to be better.
That's actually true. That makes sense. Even and I'm sure, like at the end of the day, the numbers don't really matter. It's all about the content.
Yes.
You guys got anything else?
I think that's it.
I think so too. Karli, we really appreciate you coming on the podcast. It was great having you.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys.
And we hope to make you next up.